Recording of this. Excellent. And we are recording. So my name is Allie Random. I am the Director of District Connect for RVA, and I get to be the MC for the day. I'll kick things off, and I'm going to be a professional slide advancer for everyone else. So yeah, we're looking forward to meeting with all of you, and just if you have any concerns about what this partnership is going to entail, it's all new information and we're going to throw a lot at you today. Just know that we don't expect you to have everything memorized at the end of today. It is our job as the year progresses to help and support you and make sure that you know what's happening in this partnership. So we really set these meetings up for that reason, just to answer your initial questions. So I'm going to dive in. Most of you probably know this information. You may have sat in on one or many partnership overviews already, but that's okay. We're going to do a quick recap of everything just to set the stage. So all about RVA, we kind of operate two sides to this school. The original is we've been operating a virtual school since 2005, and we have seen lots of growth since 2005 from 15 to it's probably more than 2,600 students at this point, but definitely continuing to grow, and we do our best to grow intentionally. So as we add new partner districts and add staff, we're just making sure that we're always providing the best experience that we can for our students, staff, parents, and partner districts. RVA District Connect came on the scene in 2014, and we have served students and educators in brick and mortar schools since that time. So we're at about 3,500 students. That number fluctuates a fair amount. As you can imagine, during the COVID years, that number was very high, I think in the neighborhood of 10,000 or something like that. So we basically, it is a tool belt of services to use with your students and staff in building. We have been a consortium since the beginning. We have grown from 5 partner districts up to 84 and counting. So we're excited to have all of you on board. And believe it or not, we're already starting to meet with many, many districts who are ready to be on board for the 27-28 school year. So kind of building up a wait list of partner districts. Quick 5 facts. Again, if you've been in one of these meetings, this is very familiar to you. Why districts tend to partner with us. We have experience, as I just talked about. We've been doing this for a really long time. So a lot of people partner with us so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel, start from scratch. It is turnkey. So essentially, by partnering with us, you open up this established full-time virtual school right as another school within your district. And it is our priority to do the heavy lifting on serving the students that we share. Local control, your needs are our needs, so that you can see that by the myriad of services that we provide on the District Connect side. And the full-time team is going to talk about all of the ways that we try to work with you as a district on those shared students. And also we have a governance board made up of educators in our partner districts. So it's truly local control and a say in how the school is going. Fiscal benefits, keep your funding local. We won't touch too much on that today, but I'd be happy to expand on it if that is something that interests you to talk, about that funding and how it flows. Last but not least, high quality. Number one, we prioritize our relationships and then values and academics. So as I've already mentioned, we really want to make sure that we are maintaining high quality relationships with students, families, staff, and of course, contacts in our partner districts. So we are going to do a little overview first of the District Connect side of the RVA. And we get to start with our fantastic student enrichment services. So Taylor Gadates is our student enrichment coordinator, and she's going to talk through these next couple of slides for us. So Taylor, just tell me when I need to advance or where I need to click.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I am Taylor, and basically, I think the coolest job here. I'm not gonna lie, I get to do really fun things. So these are all different programs that are available to in-person students in your building. So we create different high-quality events and opportunities for students to get some special days out of the building and things like that. The logos are all there. I'm just going to run through them kind of quickly. The Leadership Summit is probably our most popular one. That is our student council leadership themed day. It's available for both middle school and high school students. They do not have to be in student government to attend, but it's a way to work on those leadership skills, collaboration skills, and we run that in a couple different locations across the state. So again, if you have a leadership club or student council or National Honor Society, or just students that demonstrate really strong leadership qualities that you think would benefit from a day of collaborating with young leaders from other schools, this is a really cool opportunity to do that. Brain Builders is our STEM day, and that's for kind of upper elementary students and then high school students. We have rotating themes where we learn, have a focus. This past year was kind of Rube Goldberg machines and some basic engineering and physics. Another great hands-on day, a lot of collaborating, a really fun day. Environmental Education Day is literally getting dirty outside. This year, we will have students wearing waders, taking samples from a local water source and looking at, what organisms are living in the water and things like that. It's usually at the end of the school year and a wonderful way to familiarize themselves with the wilderness and nature that we have available here in Wisconsin. Kids in Action is another really popular day for kind of upper elementary students. This is our civics day. It's all about learning how students can become involved and become future change makers. We have this a few different places across the state, including in Madison at the Capitol. And then our newest event is Wisconsin Writers Workshop. This is a creative writing event for high school students that just are passionate about writing. We'll do several different activities. They're all loosely themed together, but kind of change in tone and build throughout the day. And an opportunity for students that are passionate about writing to connect with other writers. And then we actually will be announcing that we have a new publication that students are going to be able to submit their writing to that'll come out biannually. So students will be able to submit their own original writing and then be included. If you don't have a school magazine or a school newspaper, this is a cool way for some of those writers to be featured. So those are kind of our standard big events for the year. And then in addition, I have two other things that are in our kind of catalog. The Cosmic Connections is we have a traveling planetarium. So if you are interested in exploring the stars without having to leave your school, this is something that you could request, and we could set up a day where we find a room in your district with high enough ceilings, and we'll set up our planetarium, and you can bring students throughout the day to come and learn about the stars, which is a really fun opportunity to have a lot of students have a cool experience without even having to organize buses. So that's pretty cool. And then new this past year is Wired. This is our esports program. This was brought about as there have been some changes to WeSaw with costs and things like this. So this is a completely free esports league for Rocket League and Smash Brothers. So if you have an esports program at either the middle school or high school level, or you are interested in starting one, you have students that might be interested. We have several different teams. We include some in-person events at the Learning Center in Rothschild, but it's a really nice way to have students in a league that's very safe. We don't use Discord and things like that, and it's just a really positive environment for kids that are interested in esports. So those are all the catalog of fun events in my neck of the woods that are, again, available to your in-person students. This is for, students in your hallways, not students that are involved with the full-time virtual side of things. Okay, I think I got everything on that slide there. All right. I kind of talked about this a little bit, but again, this is for your in-person students. But if there's anything on there that you really like, but it's far away, you're like, oh, that activity seems awesome, but we cannot get all the way to Rothschild. I would be happy to bring any of these events to you, and whether it's just for your students, you just want to have, say your fourth and fifth graders do kids in action in the library one day. We could do that, or we can also connect with neighboring districts because if it's too far for you, it's probably too far for some of your neighbor partner districts as well. And if you feel comfortable hosting, we can invite, a handful of districts nearby and have a version of the bigger event up in your district. So if any of these things seem really cool, but just logistically aren't doable, we are happy to come up with some solutions and alternatives to make it work so that all the students in our partner districts have the same opportunities. If you have any questions about any of these, please feel free to reach out and we'll be contacting you to go over some of these things as well and welcome you into our partnership. So look forward to working with all of you. Does anyone have any questions now? Okay, well, if you do, feel free to send them my way. Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor. Sorry, it took me a long time to find my mute button there, or unmute. Next up is Cassie Coolibert. Cassie is our Educator Enrichment Coordinator on the District Connect team. So she is going to talk to you about the opportunities available to the educators and staff in your buildings. Take it away, Cassie.
Will do. Thank you, Allie. Good morning, everyone. Taylor is a very difficult act to follow, but I will do my best. Like Allie said, I'm Cassie Coolibert. I have the privilege of facilitating and providing professional development opportunities for your educators, for any educators within our partner districts. So I'm really excited just to share some information about some opportunities that we have available for next school year. The first one is our Growing Connections workshop. Every year in August, we bring our partner districts together. It's a great way just to get to know one another in our partner districts and also a great way to kick off the school year. We're really excited this year to welcome Tom Murray. He is a speaker, obviously, an educator. He's an author. He wrote the book Personal and Authentic, and he is joining us Tuesday, August 11th at our Learning Center in Rothschild. He has titled his presentation, his keynote, as Staying Personal and Authentic as we kick off the school year. So again, we're just really excited to welcome Thomas to that event. It will be about 9:30 to 2:30 at the Learning Center in Rothschild. Registration is open. Allie's on the website right there, and it is free to attend for you and any educators in your district. Lunch is provided, and we're just really excited to kick off the school year with Tom. So that is the first event I wanted to share with all of you. And then in addition to Growing Connections, we offer some virtual series to our partner districts, again, free of charge. And you and your educators can take advantage of these offerings. Registration's not quite open for these yet, but in the fall, there will be a restorative practices series available to your educators, as well as building educator resilience series, AI for educators series, and then we do book studies as well. The book titles have not been solidified yet for this upcoming school year, but just to kind of share with you what we did this year, we did The Epic Classroom by Trevor Muir because he was our Growing Connections speaker from last year. Like I said, right now we're doing Personal and Authentic. We did some Science of Reading book studies, Shifting the Balance. And this summer, we are doing The Anxious Generation. So those are the titles that we've done this year. We are certainly open to titles if you have any suggestions. And also, we're able to do a book study and facilitate it with just your district if you're interested in that as well. And then on the next slide, Allie. Thank you. We can bring any of those topics that I just spoke about, so restorative practices, resilience, AI for educators, as well as any of the topics in our PD catalog. We can bring them to your school and we can customize it and personalize it for your educators and your needs. Some other topics that we do, science of reading application, authentic assessments, social emotional learning, and we're really excited. New for this coming school year, for the 26-27 school year, we are going to be using the Enneagram. And so we have titled that as the Enneagram Experience, so a new approach to team synergy. So we're excited to bring that to our partner districts as well. That is not or those are not our only offerings for PD. We have a PD catalog that needs to be updated, but this is some of the offerings that we have. We do need to make some updates there because we have more. So you can request a PD from that list. Otherwise, you can always fill out a PD inquiry form. And if our PD catalog doesn't have what you're looking for, you can make suggestions for us. Which is really helpful for us as we can continue to update our PD catalog as well. And then on the next slide there, PD is completely free to our partner districts. So whether you're attending Growing Connections, signing up for one of our virtual series, or bringing professional development to your district, it is free of charge. It's part of your partnership with the RVA. It's flexible, customizable. We can do it in person. We can do it virtual. We can do it on your August Welcome Back to School days. We can do it throughout the school year. I have a district this year that I do every other Wednesday morning staff meeting with them. So again, it's incredibly flexible for your needs. And there is one other link on there where it says help us plan next year's offerings. We have a form on there. If you could just take a moment and fill it out, it helps us continue to update our PD catalog. So just asking what you are focusing on next year so we can continue to add more topics to our catalog. If you have any questions, please reach out at any time. If you're interested in getting some PD booked for your districts for next year, please fill out the inquiry form and we'll be reaching out soon. Thanks, Allie.
Thank you, Cassie. Okay, I just have to ask this because it is new for us. How many of you have taken the Enneagram personality assessment? Anyone? Is it completely new? So if you're aware, if you're familiar with, True Colors, Myers-Briggs, 16 personalities, it's kind of along those lines. But we thought that would be a really fun offering for partner districts just to talk about culture and, working with different personality types. All right. Next up, Ashley Anderson is going to talk about online curriculum and instruction options for your in-building students. So again, we're still on all of those services provided for the students who primarily attend in your building. So Ashley, I'll hand it over to you. Tell me when you need me to advance a slide.
Sounds good. Thank you, Allie. So I'm Ashley Anderson. I'm the Educator Support Coordinator. So my role, I work heavily with administrators, teachers, alt ed teachers, counselors to kind of find flexible learning solutions for your in-building students. So kind of provide you with catalog and access and options for virtual learning when it's needed for your students. So we do offer a wide array of different courses available on different platforms with over 1,000 different titles and a bunch of different pathways to achieve them. So on this page here that Allie's pulled up, you'll see that we do offer individualized courses. Those would be asynchronous courses for students most frequently that they're taking. You can have a local teacher overseeing that content, or you could, in situations where you need a licensed teacher, you are able to filter in this catalog to need a teacher. We do always recommend that if you try to use your local teachers first, just because it's the most positive experience for your students. But individualized course catalog, over 1,000 different titles. The platforms will have in it for next year. We currently have Odysseyware as a curriculum provider, but our license is ending on June 30th. So for next school year, there will be Edmentum available as an individualized course, as well as all of the different vendors that we pull into a platform called Buzz. So again, most districts I feel kind of tend to steer their students toward one or the other. And again, the option for that need teacher is available, but that is only an option for the Buzz courses. So if you ever need that, what Allie's showing there is yes, I need a teacher. And then if you search it, it will um, break the listings down to just the ones that have a teacher available. So this is our individualized course pathway. The courses range range based on the vendor, anywhere from $25 to $90. And our Edmentum is a comprehensive, unique student license that's year long for $140. I see a lot of people writing notes right now, and I do have a really nice handout I'll share with you at the end too, so you don't feel like you have to write it all down right now. If you click a specific course in the course catalog here, so any title's fine, Allie. If you can just click one for us. It will take you into the course title. It usually just takes a minute. And from here, you're able to take a peek at, again, that cost, maybe.
If you can believe me, this has never actually happened before. I'm not sure why, why it's not clicking. There we go.
We've
just
got it.
needed a
We've
little
got it.
time.
So from this page, you're able to go ahead and check the course length, the recommended grades it's for, the course description, and then there is always a link to the course syllabus as well here. So you can click into that and see if this class would be a good fit for your students or for your teachers, whoever's kind of looking and exploring there. If we head back, Allie. Thank you. And I did also mention Edmentum. So again, that's a comprehensive seat. The course titles are in that individualized course catalog. We do not offer teacher oversight for that one. So it's a platform you're able to use as an as needed per student, charge of $140 per year for a student, and that is a September through August license. We hold the licensing agreement, so it's kind of nice for you that you can request those as needed. You don't have to purchase it from the vendor. A question aligned, yes, the state standards, they're all state and nationally aligned through Buzz and Edmentum. And in our teacher resources, you're able to kind of find that standard correlation. And if you have specific questions as you explore, I can certainly help with that as well. Another platform or pathway we option is digital access. This one is pretty cool because it is a comprehensive license for a teacher for any courses that are on their caseload. So the catalog does come from that Buzz platform. It's just a bit more limited, but basically, a common way I've seen this one used is a brand new teacher coming into a district. They're teaching all the high school English levels, and they don't have necessarily a curriculum ready or something that they feel confident using. So they could request digital access, and it's $350 for the entire school year for all of their courses and for all of their students. So it's a pretty comprehensive way for teachers to get those resources in their hands quickly.
Ashley, there's a question in the chat
Yeah, I'm
from
checking that one out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you want to cover that.
Yes. So I would say, so the question in chat is, can you use an asynchronous course for one class? For instance, an agriculture teacher who's building their curriculum. Absolutely. So most of the individualized courses go, especially through Buzz, go by semester of content. So I would, depending on the amount of kids in the class, you might want to go this digital access way that Allie just pulled up because it would be that flat rate of $350 for all the students and the content that they needed. So they could potentially explore different versions of that content as well. If it's a smaller group, we can certainly go individualized. If you only have, 3 or 4 kids taking it, that individualized pathway and individual licenses might make more sense. But it's definitely something we can meet and kind of talk through, and I can help you navigate that. Awesome. Thanks, Allie. If you can head back to just our curriculum offerings again. Then we do offer summer school. So RVA Summer School is a great option for students looking for credit advancement. So we offer RVA-led online courses. Starting this year's is June 1st through June 25th, always the beginning of June timeframe. Attendance is mandatory for our high school courses because they are for credit advancement and counting for those summer school minutes. So most of the courses are about an hour and a half per day, and students plan to do about 2 hours of work outside of that. Driver's ed is set up a little bit differently. It's just the book-based component for driver's ed, but that's a pretty popular one. On this page, there is a link to kind of our comprehensive summer school catalog as well, like in PDF version. So that is nice to kind of look through. Again, credit advancement, it's not a good fit for students in that more credit recovery format because it is very rigorous and very fast paced to get that semester of content. We take care of the grading, we take care of managing attendance. We just ask that, you have someone locally that is our contact and they serve in a coach role to kind of help bridge that communication between us, the students, and the parents. And middle school offerings for summer school are more enrichment-based offerings, exploratory. Again, we encourage them to be present for those courses, but there's a bit more flexibility there, and it's just for students looking to learn more and engage more in that month of June. All right, Allie, we can head back. And then we offer a few supplements as well. So just things to kind of get your kids going and launching off. So we have reading eggs, math seeds, and then we also have just started dabbling in Exact Path through Edmentum as well, which is kind of a diagnostic assessment that then puts students on individualized learning paths in the subject areas of math, reading, or language arts. And we can head back, Allie. Thanks. RVA live courses is another option. So how we had talked about if you need a teacher for a course, you don't have someone locally and you need a flexible solution. We do offer you to allow your in-building students to join RVA live courses if needed. Again, we always push for you to use your own teachers first just to ensure that positive experience. But basically, you can register students for our courses. We do have a standard rule of no more than 3 courses per semester, live or with an RVA teacher for individualized. If you needed more than that, we can look at finding you teachers through the Wisconsin eSchool Network as well. So that is part of your partnership with us. So in those cases, it's honestly, this is a lot to take in. So as you start doing registrations, a lot of districts, counselors, administrators, we tend to set up a Zoom meeting and kind of work you through it the first time because it can be a lot to handle and navigate initially. Okay, Allie, we're good on that. We talked about summer school, we cruised through that. Dedicated instructor. This one is if you have a teacher shortage or a need. So most frequently this year we had Spanish requested and we needed to provide districts with a few districts requested Spanish services for middle school level or Spanish 1. And what it provides you with is 30 minutes of live daily instruction for your students. And you're basically buying one instructional period and contracting that through us. So it can be done at a semester or year-long rate. And the semesterly rate is $7,500 for the students, plus those curriculum charges. Our teacher takes care of all of the grading, all of the pacing, and again, that daily live instruction. This year, we kind of had a unique request where some districts were like, we want to purchase a section, but we just want it for individualized asynchronous students. So we had a request come in, I think, for 35 Spanish students. They were all at different levels. So our teacher met with them, was able to be online as a resource for support as needed for 30 minutes a day. They didn't do the live instruction. They just had that teacher kind of monitor the Spanish pacing and grading at all of the different levels. So again, we can get pretty flexible with the dedicated instructor solution. it is capacity based. Same with our live courses for your students. So if we have the capacity, we can try to make it work for you. Requests for this, I know it's hard. The sooner you get them to us, the more likely we're able to give you the time that you're requesting. If you come to us after our master schedule is developed, it's kind of at the mercy of what our teachers are willing to do on more of an overload side of things. Any questions about the dedicated instructor? Thanks, Allie. And then EL instructional resources. We do offer a few options for that as well. So we have a lovely teacher named Anne who serves our EL population, and she does it in two different pathways. She offers something called the Language League, which is a daily virtual instruction course for students where they work on their EL skills. It's mostly designed for students with that access score of 1 and 2. Then she also new this year started offering more of the asynchronous individualized format for students. So with that format, they're working asynchronously and works on grading and providing feedback and sending videos in more of that format. So again, two really great options for students in 4K through 12. And if you have any questions regarding that, we do have a contact form available there, but feel free to reach out to any of us and we'll kind of direct you to Anne to talk more about that. Thanks, Allie. All right, and then our last portion is registering for these services. So we just talked about a lot, and you might be thinking, sounds great, but how in the world do we do that? So basically, we had showed that individualized catalog. So hypothetically, let's say we picked a course, we're going with Algebra 1, we pulled it right out of that class, it was a great fit, and now we need to register for it. So down at the bottom of this page called the Partner Portal, you'll see that there are tutorials kind of explaining you through the registration process, 1-minute videos. We also have a teacher coach user guide that talks you through that process as well. But again, everything in terms of registration is in video format down below. If we were going to register for a class, Allie, let's just go to Antigo Buzz maybe. Oh, demo. Thank you. Perfect. Demo Buzz. Let's do it. So in this, you would fill out all of the blue fields. So you would include the student's first and last name. In the column that says source of teacher, that's where you would either tell us you're going to be using your own teacher, which we call a local teacher, or you're requesting a teacher. Again, when you're looking up that course in the course catalog, it will say teacher available, and it will say yes or no. So you'll kind of have an idea. Again, it's all capacity based, so we'll do our best to find a teacher for you if that's what you're requesting. Then you'll include the student's grade level, their date of birth, and their email address. We only need that DOB and email the first time they're registering to create their account. Then we want you to pull that exact title of the course from the catalog. Sometimes we have multiple versions of a course, and so make sure you look at that syllabus, determine which one you think would be best. Course length just goes by, are you looking for a full year, semester 1, a full year, semester 2, or a 1-semester course? They do offer a few credit recovery courses in that Buzz platform for the core high school electives. So you might choose that option as well because they're housed in one shell. And then your start date and end date will determine the student's pacing in the individualized course. So whatever dates you enter there, the system will automatically determine the pacing for the students that you enrolled into those courses. You'll include the local teacher's name and the local teacher's email address. This will also prompt us to create accounts for those teachers if they don't already have them created. If you requested a teacher, so you said need teacher, you would then need to identify a local coach. Again, what a local coach is kind of our main contact in your district when we're providing you with the teacher. And they kind of take over in that guardian role almost with our communication. So every time we're communicating with that student, the coach will be involved. We also ask the coach to help us ensure that the student, has access to a device and internet and a place to work and can navigate and get on the platform initially. So we ask for some support from that local coach, making sure the students have a positive experience. So again, this is a lot to take in. Fully aware of that. Felt like I talked so much longer. It's so many slides. In chat, I'm going to quickly share with you. This is a condensed version of everything I just shared with you that kind of goes through all the different curriculum options that we offer. So kind of a cheat sheet for that. It also has my contact information. So again, feel free to reach out to me. Oftentimes it's best to just meet, set up a Zoom. I know we reached out to a lot of you, like Taylor had mentioned, and we're hoping to visit you in the upcoming months here. Allie, I think, did I have anything left? Oh, great question. How soon do people get added to the partner portal page?
That's a good question. I think that's something Rachel is working on over the next couple of weeks, but for sure by July 1st, you would see your district on that partner portal page because that's when the agreement officially begins.
Any
All right.
other questions?
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Yeah, so do you any questions for Ashley, Taylor, Cassie? We've reached the end of the District Connect portion of our partnership journey meeting today. Anything we can answer? All right. Perfect. Well, we'll move on. Throw your questions in the chat, even if they're out of order. We're all monitoring the chat and we'll gladly respond. So good. Let's hop over to the full-time side and we're gonna start with that first step of enrollments and what does that look like on the full-time side of the RVA. So enrollments team.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Angie Edis. I'm part of the RVA's enrollment team for full-time enrollments, along with Jen Harris and Sydney Strasser. I'll start out with where we are with enrollments right now. We currently have spring open enrollment going on right now. And along with that, if you have any families that are interested in enrolling with the RVA, we do have a consortium enrollment interest list going on where if you have families, they can go to the RVA's website and get their name added to that list. It is going on through a spring open enrollment, which is 4 p.m. on April 30th. So right now we are reaching out to you with preliminary records requests for those students that are wanting to enroll to help with the enrollment applications later that will be happening late May, early June, or during the summer. And so I will just start out with once we go through the enrollment processes and we get an enrollment application from a family that's wanting to enroll, the RVA, the enrollment process is the family would complete the online enrollment application. And then the RVA enrollment team, we would request the preliminary records from you, the resident school district or previously attending school. We are looking for if there's any special education or expulsion records. And then we also do confirm the student's grade level just to make sure we have the correct grade level listed for the student. And then once we get that information back from your district, we do have our RVA special education team that would review any special education records, 504 records, just to make sure we're able to meet all the needs of the student that's wanting to enroll with the RVA. And then once we get that information, the enrollment does go to the RVA administration for review and approval. The applications then, once the enrollment is approved, we do have moved forward with the enrollment secretary that works in that student grade level. We do have, if there are any, we don't have a lot of them, but if we do have any enrollments that are denied for certain reasons, we do reach out to you, the resident school district, and so you are aware if we're not able to approve that enrollment application, and we do let you know that as well. And then once that enrollment application has moved to the next steps, we do send that application to the student services team, and they do build the schedule and coordinate orientations for the students that are starting with the RVA. So if you do have any questions in regards to enrollments, I want to encourage you to reach out to, we do have an RVA enrollment email. We can put that in the chat box there for you. And please feel free to reach out to the enrollment team at any time with any questions, or if you have families that are wanting to enroll, you'll see emails, the preliminary records requests coming from that RVA enrollments email. And definitely, reach out to us with any questions, as we're happy to help out with that. Does anybody have any enrollment questions so far? Like what factors might prevent a student from being accepted? It could be a rare case. If a student, safety reasons for if a student's wanting to enroll, and if they've had some situations where for safety reasons, they wouldn't be able to enroll here at a virtual school, that may be one of the factors, but most enrollments are approved with the RVA. So any other questions or? All right. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm one of the other enrollment secretaries, and I'm here to let you know where the data lives in the system. So the RVA will house the cumulative files for your students here with us, but the partner district will hold the WISE ID, and you do the WISE data reporting, and you also will do the federal and state reporting, which includes the pupil counts and house these SPED files. How this breaks out in our roles is the RVA will mail grade reports and transcripts to families. We'll provide diplomas and covers. We'll provide registration information for the students, provide lists of students before the third Friday count and the second Friday count so we can verify all of our information for its accuracy. We provide schedules and course and teacher information to you. We also provide grade and transcript information and weekly attendance records. The partner district, the resident districts will maintain the records for transcript and reporting purposes, attend enrollment and student management presentations put on by the RVA enrollment team. That would be a great way if you have any more in-depth questions that we can help you with. That would be, and we have a few coming up, just so you know. Do you have any other questions? Right.
Could you just
Thank you.
clarify, sorry, for the
Mhm.
transcripts? So
Yes.
RVA's role says you are providing transcript information. So if a student is a senior, who's giving the final transcript? RVA or their home school?
We will provide the transcripts to you with our information for you to put in your system, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. So RVA provides the transcript. You enter it into your system too. So technically the student can request a transcript from either the RVA or from your district, and they should mirror each other, but we're providing you all the information for that transcript.
And because we're new to this consortium, do schools label these courses as RVA, or is it just listed as we're at Marathon, so a Marathon High School, like it's English 9?
Yeah, so you're asking great questions that we're going to be covering when we get into the school overview a little bit more.
Okay.
But yeah, we technically become another school within your district. So it's an RVA high school transcript. Let's say if you're from Marathon, it would be RVA Marathon School.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I can just take it from there, I guess. So I'm Kathy Alexander. I'm the high school principal and director of student services, and we'll be doing a little more introductions here in just a minute. But once students enroll with us, now we want to give an overview of what that looks like once the students enrolled into the full-time virtual school. And so just a summary, parents enroll the students into full-time school. School districts are not able to enroll students into the RVA. It's a parent choice school, so the parents are the ones that have to be doing that. And then once we get that enrollment and it's approved, the RVA student services teams are going to work with that student and family to build a schedule, whether that's at the elementary, middle, or high school level. The elementary and middle school have a few different curriculum options. And I know Jenna Versh, the elementary middle school principal, is here too, and we'll be talking about those different pathways. Jenna, I don't know if you want to talk about that now or if you want to talk about that in a little bit.
We can hold off. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. And then at the high school, we'll be talking about that as well, what that looks like for the different courses high school students would be taking. Once students are fully registered and we have their courses and curriculum picked out and ready to go, they attend a new student orientation in the beginning of the school year. If they become enrolled with us throughout the school year, our student services teams then also do like individual orientations and onboard them as well. And at the elementary level, they get assigned a specific RVA teacher as well too that also does additional orientation with them. Especially at the high school level, the consortium school counselors and student services team is going to be included. We share those schedules, and again, we share the transcripts throughout the school year, and work with that in-building student services team to ensure our students are all meeting graduation requirements. And if students choose to take classes in building as well too, we work as a team with that local school for those scheduling purposes as well, and make sure all the courses are included and the transcript is accurate. You can go on, Allie. And so I want to go over some introductions though before we go too far into the full-time virtual school. Jenna Versh, she's our elementary principal. Jenna, you want to say hi?
Good morning, everyone. So great to see you this morning. And as Kathy said, yes, I am elementary and middle school principal. So if you ever have any questions about elementary and middle school, send them my way.
And Kevin Wellman, I'm not sure, is he in today? But he is our assistant principal and activities director. He works out of our learning center that is in Rothschild. We hold a lot of in-person events there and all different types of activities, whether it's enrichment activities, school dances, different things. There are things going on every day there. So if you ever need to get a hold of Kevin or you want to check out our learning center over there, you are more than welcome to do so. And then Alex, I know you are here. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Great to see everyone here this morning. I'm Alex O'Connor. I'm Dean of Students this year, moving into an assistant principal role for next year. So I know I attend a lot of the one-on-one partner meetings with Allie, so I may see a lot of you in those meetings.
And then Sam Penry and Nicole Wolf, sorry, Nicole Kenyon is her name. She's recently married, so I'm going to update that slide for her. But Sam and Nicole, you want to introduce yourselves?
Yep, thanks, Kathy. I'm Sam Penry. I'm the Director of Special Education for the Rural Virtual Academy, and Nicole Kenyon is my Assistant Director of Special Education. She can't be here this morning because she is in the thick of forward testing, but I will be speaking on her behalf today. So it's great to meet you all, and I'm glad you're all here.
And then we have our student services teams at each level. Cheyenne Meyer, Megan LaMarche, and Jeff Lemahue are our high school student services team that work with our regular education students. We divide our students up by last name. So dependent on what the student's last name starts with, will determine who their advisor or school counselor is. And a lot of our student services team members are in the meeting today as well, so they can help answer any questions you have that you might put in the chat, or feel free to use your mic as well. And then Jill Chasteen is our high school special education coordinator. So if we have students enrolling with us with an IEP at the high school level, Jill's typically their first point of contact with onboarding them and selecting a curriculum and assigning a case manager and things like that. And then Kelly Williams is our on-course coordinator. Our on-course program is for students who are at risk or who may be at risk of becoming at risk. And she has a team of teachers then that get assigned to those students. We may be providing some specialized programming for them to help if they're credit deficient, school-age parents, expelled, things like that, inpatient treatment, all different types of scenarios that Kelly and her team works with to help those students be successful with us.
We also have a student services team at the middle school level. So we have Tony, Amanda, and Amy. Again, we split up students by their last names, especially if they're taking all live classes. They have an advisor that's their go-to person, as well as these people work very closely with our in-building counselors as well. And then on the next slide, it shows our elementary team. So again, if you have questions related to elementary, we have Allison, Becky, and Katie. And then on the next slide, we also have our special education coordinators. At middle school is Jonna, and Nate is at our elementary level. So again, during that enrollment process with the full-time side, any of these people are happy to help reach out to students and families and answer questions during that process. All right, as we talk a little bit more about the full-time side, we'll start off with just an overview of our elementary level. Our elementary school is grades K4 all the way up to 5th grade. And again, we really focus on our mission of relationships, values, and academics throughout the programming options that we offer at elementary. Our teachers plan, prescribe, and assign those learning activities. And they have a variety of instructional pathways that they can choose from. Most of our families do choose some sort of combination of asynchronous as well as live instruction. So we do offer live Zoom classes on a daily basis, but we also do offer some individualized instruction option using a book-based curriculum. Option as well. So again, when an elementary student enrolls, we review placement test information that we have them take in both reading and math, and we select the instructional pathway that is going to work best for their needs. Again, out on our website, once you get these slides, you can review just the overview of our elementary programming as well as those instructional pathway options. On the next slide, it just shows a sample schedule of what it may look like for one of our kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade students, as well as our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, especially if they're enrolled in those live Zoom classes. You can see how that's structured throughout their day as well. When we move on to middle school in grades 6, 7, and 8, again, we continue to focus on our mission of building those strong relationships with our students, having those shared values as well as those excellent academic options. Middle school does look very similar, but we do see that connection as students are preparing for high school. So a lot more of our students are enrolled in all live classes throughout their school day. But again, we offer that variety of instructional options and curriculum pathways to see what works best for students. The enrollment process is very similar. Again, we review those placement test results with the family and then select the instructional pathway that works best for a student. On the next slide, it does show a sample middle school schedule, so you can see those live daily classes are within the core subject areas. Language arts, math, science, and social studies might be throughout the morning or the afternoon. We also have a wide variety of live elective class offerings, so art, STEM, music, and Spanish are offered as elective classes, so they may choose to join those elective classes as well. We do also have a time within our day in both elementary and middle school that's called activity period. So that's when we host a lot of our online clubs and activities, as well as tutor time and Friday fun. So lots of opportunities for students to be active in our online environment and continue to build those relationships with others. I'll turn things over to Kathy now to go through high school information.
Yeah, thank you, Jenna. And I saw some questions about like the diploma and transcripts and things like that. So we'll be touching on some of that information here as we go over the high school. We are a separate high school within your district. And so to just kind of wrap your head around it, I give the example of, say, Wausau East and Wausau West. They're both schools within the Wausau School District, but they're separate high schools. So it's similar that now RVA becomes a separate school within your district. However, there is some overlap and some collaboration that that we will work with you on and help you understand as we grow our partnership. In the high school level, 99.9% of our students are taking online daily direct instruction with us. Typically, the only book-based curriculum that we have is for students with IEPs or specially designed instructional needs. Otherwise, most of the students are doing that online and virtual instruction. We do have some individualized courses for electives or for credit recovery. Otherwise, our students are taking classes live each day with our high school teachers. We have different teachers for different subject areas. All of our teachers are DPI certified and licensed in their areas of instruction. We also have that daily activity period each day. On Mondays, our students get together by grade level, go over announcements, upcoming events, things to be aware of. And then throughout the rest of the week, we provide tutor time and then also a wide variety of different clubs and enrichment activities for students. I mentioned our on-course program already for at-risk students. And our school year is a 2-semester school year, and then we have that optional summer school term as well. Some of our partner districts are on trimesters or may run a different schedule. Our student services team works with you and the students and families to help align everything if that's the scenario. So just know if you are not a 2-semester school, it's okay. We work together on that. You can go on, Allie. Here's just a sample schedule of a high school student. Like I said, most of our courses are that live instruction. Our school day starts at 8 in the morning and ends at 3. This student, her first class started at 8:45, so then she has some work time, study hall time in the morning. But otherwise, they are attending classes throughout the school day. This slide has a lot of different information on it. And again, we'll be sharing out some handouts and resources as well. So don't feel like you have to write this all down. Each course for live instruction is 30 minutes a day. Students do have 24/7 access though to their curriculum and to be doing their work and assignments, submitting different things. That individualized courses, if students are taking any of those, again, they wouldn't have that 30-minute live instruction, but they do have 24/7 access, and an RVA teacher is still assigned and oversees that course and makes sure that they're planning and prescribing instruction with those individualized courses as well. When schools partner with us, one of the benefits is keeping those students local and tied to the district. And a lot of our partner students are going to want to be taking classes in building. So some will be taking, say, like band or a shop class, something like that, that we don't offer virtually. The RVA allows students to take up to half of their courses in building and still remain a full-time virtual student, but that's pending the local school's approval and making sure that there would be no concerns or issues with that. Typically, if a student's taking a class in building, it's 1 or 2 classes, though we usually don't see a whole half schedule in building. If a student is taking a class in building, though, all in-building rules apply to that student. So attendance, behaviors, all of that is still applicable to that student if they are in building. Work experience, youth apprenticeship, early college credit program, and Start College Now. Those are all overseen by the resident school. So if we have a student from a partner school that is interested in one of those programs, our student services team then directs that student and family and connects them with the in-building school counselor, whoever is responsible for that program. And then we coordinate that together. The reason that the local schools oversee that is because of the funding that's tied to like work experience, youth apprenticeship, Carl Perkins funding, CT grants, those types of things. And then also because of the logistics with that student being local and connecting with employers and things like that as well too.
Can I ask a question, Kathy?
Sure.
So for ECCP, Start College Now, et cetera, they have deadlines. So are you meeting with like high school students when they're juniors so that they are aware of those deadlines and they have the paperwork submitted prior to?
Yep. So the same deadlines would apply. So if but they would need to get those applications to their local district by March 1st or October 1st. And our student services team would be advising them of that to make sure that they get those applications to you.
And then I'm just thinking like marathon specific, we partner with some schools. Students have to take placement tests for UW, Oshkosh. Are they coming here to do that? Am I then responsible for emailing students and communicating with them? Or do I email the counselor at RVA and they make sure students take care of things? How do we connect all the pieces?
For the placement tests
So students take English with us and they have to take the UW the Wisconsin English placement test in order to be eligible. So like students in marathon, we have a day where we sit down and we complete first the UW application all together. And then they'll get their net ID and we complete their registration and then we take the placement test. So how are those RVA students getting that information?
Yep. So if they're taking ECCP through their local district, then the local district would be responsible for communicating all that information with them as well too.
Okay.
And you'll have access to all of the RVA students' contact information as well too. So yep, so you would just want to include them in on all of that correspondence if that's a requirement.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. The RVA, we do offer a lot of live instruction FIED courses. However, we do also offer the option of a FIED equivalency. So if a student is taking, say, a WIA sport, and now that they're a partners student from a consortium district, they are eligible to do WIA sports at their local school. So say if they're taking basketball at Baraboo, we would grant them a half credit for 90 hours of participation in a sports season. Or if say they're doing a gymnastics club or something like that, that may not be WIA, but that is coached and approved by us, they can earn their FIED credit that way as well. And that leads into that next box with WIA sports and extracurricular and co-curricular activities. These are open to RVA students at the local school. Again, the resident school has to approve them to be able to do that. If they are doing sports at the local school, they have to meet the same athletic code eligibility, just like any in-building student would have to as well. We can give your athletic director, or if you have a local coach, access to, be checking on grades and different things. Otherwise, we do have athletic directors reaching out to our student services team for grade reports when needed, for those types of things. The RVA does have its own NHS chapter though. So a student from a local partner school should not be a member of your in-building, like Marathon City High School chapter of the NHS. They can only be a member of the RVA chapter of NHS since RVA has its own chapter. And if we have students that enroll in the RVA after they've become a member, we just transfer their NHS membership to us. Every 4 weeks, we do participation checks. So it's where we are checking, making sure students are attending their classes, they're submitting their work, they are in good communication with their teachers. If we're reaching out to the families are also in good communication with us. If students are in good status, it can determine earned flexibility. And what earned flexibility is if a student's earning an 80% or higher and mastering their content and are on pace, then they don't have to be attending the live courses each day as long as they continue to be doing well and meeting that threshold. If a student wants earned flexibility, the parent has to request that from the teacher, and then the teacher grants it as long as there's no concerns with it. It's a privilege. It can be revoked at any time, but a lot of reasons that families and parents choose to send their kids to RVAs because they need some flexibility. And so we do grant that if the students are doing well. The participation checks also can determine failure to participate in the virtual school. We don't have compulsory attendance laws that we have to follow. We have a law that's called failure to participate, which again monitors that participation of, are they attending? Are they turning their stuff in? Are they in good communication? If we do have concerns in those various areas, we can put them on probation. We notify them with a warning letter that they are failing to participate. And if they continue to do so, we may have to look at terminating their enrollment and sending them back to their resident school district. If that arises, we are also sending all those warning letters to the local district. We're in communication with the counselors, things like that. We try to work as a team to get that student back on track. So we'll be talking about learning centers here in just a second, but sometimes partner districts want to pull that student in to help get them back on track. Or if it's not going well in the virtual school, start working on getting them back, back in building, supervising them with their classes. So hopefully they can pass some credits before the end of the semester, and then they transition back in building type thing. So when we are looking at remanding a student back, we will be in communication, and we do try to give them every chance to be successful with us and work with them the best we can. But every now and then we find that the virtual option is not the best option for every student. So I have a note on here to make sure your district contact information is up to date. I believe all the districts that have partnered with us for next year have this all up to date, which is great. But if you do have any staff changes on the partner district contact sheets, there's a box to check if you want those warning letters sent to you to be notified. And so I always say, like high school principals, a lot of times school counselors want those notifications too, just to make sure that contact information is up to date so that we're getting those letters sent to the appropriate people. And last box on this page is state testing. Resident schools are responsible for pretty much all aspects of the state testing for our shared students. So that will be something, and we do send out correspondence on this as we get closer to the state testing window. And a lot of us are wrapping up state testing right now, so nobody really wants to talk about state testing too much. But that would be something where you would be reaching out to the students, sharing when and where to report for state testing, and the participation rate on that and everything else. Will be sharing more information as for next year once we get closer, like I said. But the data gets reported back to the RVA school. So just that's one thing with like the ACT, Pearson portal, those types of things. You want to make sure that the reporting code it's coded to the RVA. And we work with DPI so that when the students are pulled into the different portals, they are typically set up correctly. And again, we'll be sending out notifications of just kind of things to make sure you're checking in those portals to make sure the students are set up correctly for testing as well. But just to make note of that. We do provide Chromebooks to all of our students that are in the full-time virtual school. And I had mentioned our activities and events. We have hundreds of in-person events going on. We have 15 regional event coordinators that are located throughout the state that are offering in-person events. And then we also have a lot of online clubs and engagement activities too. Sometimes people may fear that if they're attending the virtual school, students are going to be more isolated. We do our best to make sure that our students are getting a lot of different in-person and social activities as well too outside of their academic classes. And then we also require our students to complete 8 hours of community service each school year as a graduation requirement. Some of our partner schools will require more hours of community service. And if that's the case, we make sure our students are completing whichever of the higher hours are required so that they are getting those requirements met. Whew, I was talking a lot there, and I saw that there were some questions in the chat. Is there anything that did not get answered? Okay, I think we can go on to the next slide then. Not all of our high school courses are NCAA approved. We do have a list that we can provide you, though, of which courses are NCAA approved. And then the diploma will actually say Rural Virtual Academy on the top, and then it has this city that the student's residing from if they're a consortium district. So it would say Rural Virtual Academy High School and then Baraboo, Wisconsin on the side. So it's a separate diploma that we offer through your local school district. This is a resource that kind of divides up who's responsible for what for the full-time virtual school between like state testing, the graduation, special education. And I know Sam's gonna be talking about that more in a little bit here too. I don't know if you want to scroll down on that, Allie, a little bit. That athletic eligibility in building classes, attending clubs. One other note, we have a lot of students that are interested in FFA. RVA does not have its own chapter of FFA, so students are allowed to participate in their local school's FFA class as long as they are also taking at least one agriculture course in building then too. We talked about the youth apprenticeships, work experiences, dances and proms. So again, since we're a separate high school, and I'll go back to the Wausau West, Wausau East example, each school has its own prom. RVA offers its own prom too. So if a student that's full-time enrolled in the RVA prom wants to attend, and they're from Baraboo, wants to attend Baraboo prom, they would attend as a guest. So just know we have a lot of different guest forms going back and forth with our partners, students for those types of things. And if you ever have any questions on that, just let us know. And then we did share that we'll be sending out the pupil count information prior to that third Friday and second Friday counts as well too. I know we had some questions on like maintaining the transcripts and schedules and things. Our enrollment team actually holds separate training sessions for the staff in our partner districts that are responsible for entering that data in as well too. And they go, over that in greater detail as well. So we'll be inviting those staff to those orientations here in the near future too. All right, next slide. This was okay. And then this is just a one-page handout. If you do have interested students and families, you can hand this out to them. It's just kind of highlights what that means if they want to enroll in the RVA, to let them know that it is a separate high school. So you are no longer going to be a high school student of their brick and mortar high school of that district. And they can take the classes in building, but again, that's dependent on the approval of their local school capacity, those types of things. They can participate in those WIE sports and extracurricular, co-curricular things. And then again, that graduation information. The RVA issues the diploma. Students can walk in either the RVA graduation ceremony or their local graduation ceremony, but they have to choose. They can only walk in one ceremony. And then local scholarship considerations on that too. the RVA does issue its own academic excellence and technical excellence scholarships. Our students in the RVA should not be considered in your brick and mortar school's class rank or GPA or anything like that. But they can be considered for those local scholarships because they are a district student yet. So it's really up to your local scholarship sponsors on if they want to consider the RVA students for their local scholarships. Most of our partner districts do share the local scholarship catalog with the RVA students as well too. All right. And just some more on the graduation. We follow the graduation requirements from each of our partner schools that's listed in district policy. This is usually different and more general than what you would be giving your students in the high school in your course guidebook. So we typically in the district policies, it lists the number of credits in each subject area. Sometimes there'll be a specific course listed, but usually it's pretty general. So what we follow are the ones in that district policy. I invited all of our new partners to a graduation requirement meeting, and most of you have already signed up for those. We're meeting next week. That's where we'll go over your district graduation requirement policy and just make sure we're all on the same page for what students that are enrolled in the full-time RVA need to meet in order to earn a diploma through your local school district that the RVA issues. If you ever make changes to graduation requirements, please let me know. We review all of our district policy graduation requirements in June and try to catch things, and we'll reach out if we notice something is different than what we had originally agreed upon. But if you do make graduation requirement changes, it's really helpful to let us know as soon as possible so that we are keeping our students on track. I talked about the graduation ceremony that students can choose to walk in RVAs or resident schools, but they're only allowed to walk in one. And then I also talked about those scholarship considerations too. So any questions on any of that? Okay, I think we're caught up. And then I'm just going to touch on learning centers here too. So usually when schools partner with us our first year, they're just getting their head wrapped around how this partnership works and all the ins and outs of it. Allie will be talking about an engagement credit, and part of that is offering a learning center, and that could really be any location in your school. And it offers a place for our full-time virtual students to go to. So say we do have a student that's taking 2 classes in building, and they're taking an art class that's first hour, and then they take band that's third hour, and that second hour they have a gap, would be a place where they could go work on their RVA courses rather than coming to campus, leaving campus, and coming back to campus, those types of things. It also would be a place where if a student is at risk of failure to participate, that they could go to get some more oversight and support with their classes. It's also something that maybe local districts want to be offering opportunities to bring RVA families into the district for different events, speakers, different things that you might have going on. And it's part of that engagement credit where districts can get some funding back from the RVA if they're offering these services. So Allie's usually the one that talks about those learning center and the engagement credit, but I do like to put a plug in for it just because it is a nice opportunity, especially for our high school students that may be in building taking some classes anyways. All right, and I'm going to turn it over to Sam to talk about special education services and how that works for the full-time virtual students.
Thank you, Kathy. So I have this one slide here and it is jam-packed with information. And just know that I can set up meetings with any of you at any time if you have additional questions about things, or if you want to review this at the beginning of the school year for some of the students that are coming into the RVA, that we can do that at any point in time. So it is a partnership. It's a true partnership in the special ed world. And we ask that the partner district provide specially designed services for related type services, things like speech and language, OT, PT, deaf, hard of hearing, VI, if there's audiology in an IEP, things like that that are really more challenging to sometimes do virtually, but also maybe a student has a connection with somebody in your school building already who is providing those services and has a good relationship with them. So we ask that those services are provided by your district, and then you would assign one district representative to each student. So to attend those IEP meetings, if there's already a speech and language person involved or an occupational therapist involved, that person can be that assigned person from your district attending. Or you can assign a teacher. Some districts will say, I want the school psychologist from our district to attend all of the IEPs, IEP meetings for students in RVA, just because it's easier to have that housed with one person. And then some districts say, I want it to be the special education teacher who would have that student if they were attending in building, and it's a different person for each student. We do not micromanage that. It can be whatever works best for your district. We want it to be what's most comfortable for you. As long as somebody is attending those IEP meetings, you are the district of FAPE, and we want you to be involved in those meetings and come and help us make team decisions for our students. You would conduct those initial and reevaluations for students who are still in special education. If a student came to us and their only service is speech and language, you would case manage those students. I would be aware of those students, and then I would make sure that we're connecting our regular education teacher in the RVA to your students, or to your speech language pathologist, so that way we are collaborating around those IEP meeting times and things like that. If there is a student, and this happens very rarely, who qualifies for special education as a preschool student, and we need an early childhood outcomes filled out, those students would live in your early childhood outcomes WAMS site. We can certainly do a developmental profile, help get those things, those questions answered, but someone from your district would have to go in and fill out those ratings. We would also ask that you would manage and develop the 504 and EL plans. And again, we are aware of all those students, and we will get with you as those students enroll and make sure that we're connecting with the right people. So that way all the right people are at the table to help you manage and develop those things and feel supported in that process. As Kathy had mentioned, all state testing as well as any EL testing would be done by your district as well. On the RVA side of things, we schedule and send invitations for IEP meetings. We write the IEPs, we write PTPs. We will ask for access to your RVA high school to see the students' PTPs and be able to fill them out, so that our teachers are requesting just access to that RVA school. So there should not be any confidentiality issues. And in addition to that, our teachers are like your teachers within your school. So we would write those PTPs within your system. We would complete progress reports. We do those twice a year at semester time, because that's when our other students are getting those progress checks. But we also send out monthly progress emails as well to the entire team. We would implement interventions and progress monitoring related to a specific learning disability evaluation in most cases, but that is also a team decision. And if your district felt strongly that they would want to conduct that intervention, we can also work with you and the student and family to make sure that that's a process you're comfortable with. As I already said, we do those monthly team updates, and then we also complete those notice of graduation prior to that happening, as far as those team meetings and that paperwork. So like I said, some of the nuances or complexities are just having access to that PTP system. If you want someone from your district to be the LEA rep, that is why some districts will assign and say, I would like our school psychologist, or I, as the director of special education, would like to attend all of the IEP meetings for RVA students because I want to be the LEA rep at that meeting. We welcome that. As far as audit implications, we do write those IEPs, but they are going to be part of your audit. If you have a DPI special education audit, they are going to pull records from your RVA school just like they would pull records from any other school. So those IEPs will be part of that audit process. So we take that very seriously, and we try to make sure that all of our IEPs are very audit friendly. If you notice anything that you are feeling isn't, then Nicole or I would want to know about that right away, so that way we can help support staff and make sure that those are done in a manner that is audit compliant. You keep the special education file within your district. So you can keep those. We just ask for the last IEP and evaluation for the student. So that way we have enough records to update our system, as well as send you like a Google form with the original entry date and some of those other things. We have multiple students in multiple districts. So I know some districts will say, can we have these 4 people assigned to this student and we want them invited to the IEP meeting? We really try to stick with 1 representative and then required team members. So if a student has required team members, like an OT or PT, we always include those team members that are required, but that we only ask for 1 representative in addition to those for each student, because it just, with 85 partners, it can be really difficult to kind of keep track of all of the people for each student if we get too complex. You're welcome to have that representative from your district invite other team members and for other team members to come. It's just hard to schedule with more and more people. So that 1 person from your district can definitely bring more people with them to that meeting. And then there is a link on here for the RVA Connect special education, so that way you can go in. I know other people have talked about this page, but you can reference kind of who does what from here, and you can also access your partner portal, which will give you access to all of your special education students or 504 students, and within that student list as well. Are there any questions or anything that I can help with? And sometimes, like I said, those questions will come at the beginning of the school year, as you're getting students in and kind of working through this process for the first time. And Nicole and I always are open to meeting again at the beginning of the school year.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sam. As we said, that was a lot in an hour and a half, packed a lot of information in there, a lot of people, a lot of faces, a lot of names. So again, you are not on your own with this. We're here to help you out as the year progresses. I think everyone alluded to that when they talked, but we just wanted to give you this information up front so that you maybe have an idea where to find it. And if you're not sure, just start with someone. We'll get you to the right person that you're supported. One thing, a couple of people already mentioned it, but the partner portal is a really important spot for you, a place for you to bookmark. Your district name will show up here, and there will be a lot of information available to you. I clicked on it when Ashley was talking, but I'm going to hop back into it. You can see all of the District Connect courses are registered here. And then we also have a district invoice, so you can keep track of the expenses as they are coming in. Pupil services information, so this is an RVA student list, schedules, grades, and attendance, of course, only for the students in your district. So with those things, you'll have to request access the first time. We have to verify, that you are proper staff in your district. And then also the contact list. So you can update your district's contact list at any point. We also provide, just a couple of other helpful links that we feel you might need throughout the year. All right, so that's the partner portal. Just wanted to make sure you have that. And then I will put this link in the chat, but also just know that we will send this as a follow-up after today for those of you who attended. Really, this is links to the different pieces that we covered today. And we will, like I said, we'll share this with you, but let me hop down to the checklist because you may be wondering, now what? What can I do now that I have all of this information? First off, you probably want to save this page and then save the orientation slides. So they are linked right here on this page. And next up, if you haven't already, you'll probably want to send someone to that registrar and business office orientation that I think Angie maybe talked about earlier. So there are 3 different dates for that, and they will be able to go into even more detail. And you maybe have some people who, this entire orientation that we've done today wouldn't apply, but these pieces of information would work specifically for their role. Next up, I mentioned review that partner portal and make sure your district's contact sheet is updated. Familiarize yourself with new student enrollments and send interested families to that RVA enrollment page. So that's linked right here. If you haven't already, schedule that 30-minute meeting with Kathy to confirm your high school graduation requirements. And I think the District Connect team has already been reaching out, but if not, feel free to reach out to us to schedule a meeting for our coordinators to come visit you and talk in more detail about what's available. And then, of course, if you're not finding what you need here, complete a form and we will get you to the right person. Any questions? Will you be sharing the recording? Excellent question. I actually will be putting the recording right on top of that page I just shared. So yes, you will have access to this recording.